Good morning and welcome to Your Vote Counts. I'm Scott Mitchell with Leader Echols, Senator Julia Kirt. Good to have you both.
Glad to be here.
Good to be on.
Okay, topic number one. Oklahomans can now register online. And I'm just wondering, we've seen so many stories about election security. Start with you, Senator Kirt. What do you think about Oklahomans registering online, maybe eventually one day voting online? Who knows where this is all headed, but it is something that's really groundbreaking for Oklahoma.
Yeah, this is great news. I mean, it's been 8 years since the legislature authorized registering to vote online. My predecessor in office, who's now Mayor David Holt, actually passed that bill, and I've been pushing to put a deadline to it for quite a while. I'm thrilled that it's finally online. They're still checked and validated. They're validated against driver's license. There's the opportunity at the county level for them to double check registrations. But this is a huge step forward. I've talked to so many young people who just can't believe they can't register to vote. I had an intern who he said, well, but I registered for the draft online. Why can't I register to vote? So I think it's going to make a lot of difference for helping young people get registered.
Okay, now this is going to be interesting from the Republican standpoint. You know, there's been a lot of discussion about Republicans and election security and what's true and what's not true. Let me ask you this, John. First of all, will Republicans register online? Will they get confused about voting online? What's the story here? It really is going to be something that's people are going to be talking about.
Well, here's the story here. Mayor David Holt, used to be Senator David Holt, passed a great bill. Registering online is a great thing. I'm glad people are registering. It's safe and secure. Voting online will never happen while I have any say inside the Oklahoma state government. Voting online is a terrible idea. The security of it makes me very, very nervous. But as far as registering online, this is wonderful. And you ask, will Republicans register online? They will, and they'll register roughly 2-to-1 the registration that they have now. We're reaching out to the next generation. It's time to do that. I do agree with the senator that this is what the next generation is doing. What I don't want to confuse it with is voting online. Oklahoma elections are safe and secure, and we are not moving to a voting online system. I've already got those emails. It is registering. Mayor Holt, former Senator Holt, did a great job.
Okay, another controversial topic right off the bat this morning, which is a major financial network this week that is right up there with amongst the biggest news carriers about finance. It says Oklahoma's in the bottom 10 when it comes to business. Now, Chad Warmington, the state chamber, was on a couple of weeks ago talking about workforce. Something needs to be done about that. You saw the rankings, John. What do you think about what can be done about this?
Well, the formula for Oklahoma going forward is simple. Here's what the rankings said. Cost of living, cost of starting a business, top 10, doing phenomenal. Here's what killed us: educational outcomes. This is not hard. Everyone inside the state of Oklahoma government needs to be talking about educational outcomes. How do we help our teachers so we have more kids that can read, more kids that can do math? And then the other thing we need to do is do a tax cut. We've been talking about this for a year and a half inside here. Whether it's grocery tax, I think it should be income tax. We have some great things in here, but everyone in the state of Oklahoma should have the roadmap. We've done great on investing in education. We got to refocus educational outcomes, and we got to put more money in people's pockets.
Senator, first off, do you believe the report? And second, what do you think? If you do believe the report, what do you think needs to be done?
Yeah, this report didn't surprise me. I mean, we definitely have made lots of strides for making sure businesses can start well here. We've cut taxes. We've cut corporate taxes. We've cut individual taxes that affects our small businesses multiple times over the last few years. We are not hearing from businesses that they want more tax cuts. What we're hearing is they want their workforce ready to go, and that's ongoing investments in education. The rankings are clear. Increased funding to education on a consistent basis. Also, smaller class sizes are those things that are going to transform the way we're viewed. Also, quality of life issues. Again and again, they pointed out that some of the exclusionary and hateful bills that are being passed are affecting the ability to recruit a workforce and keep them in our state.
Okay, speaking of life issues and how we do things in Oklahoma, we're going to take a look back, as we've been promising, to look back at things that were done by the legislature that may be helpful. We may need to continue doing when we come back. Welcome back to Your Vote Counts. We were talking about things the legislature has done that people may have forgotten about. And one of those issues was caregivers and helping out people that are seniors. And it's really tough for a lot of people in these times. John, this is some legislation that was passed that's very helpful.
We want to continue to be a great place for retirees and seniors inside the state of Oklahoma. And our retirees are being crushed with this incredible amount of inflation that is coming down from bad policies on the national level. What we're trying to do to be helpful here in the state of Oklahoma, and it was really led the charge by Representative Tammy West from Northwest Oklahoma City, who is a phenomenal state representative. She was able to pass a tax credit for those low income caring in the home for their senior citizens. What we're trying to say as the state of Oklahoma is we care about you, we recognize you, we want good policy that helps. It was a great first step. I mean, it was a heavy lift, but this isn't the end of where we need to do for those taking care of our caregivers. But we were really proud of that work by Representative Tammy West in Northwest Oklahoma City, and really want to say thank you to our seniors and honor that generation.
Senator Kirt, you know what happened? Is this going to be really helpful for a lot of people?
Yeah, I do think it's a good start. The income cap is pretty low. I think it was very targeted, which I think was wise for getting started. I think folks can only earn $50,000 a year, which I appreciate that we're trying to make sure it helps those who have the most challenges financially. I talk to so many people on their doorstep about being caregivers, and we want people to be able to keep their loved one in their home or keep them in their own house if they're able to. This helps us keep people out of nursing homes if they don't need to go. This helps us save money as a state. So it's a real win for us. I think we'll start here, and then we really need to look at caregivers for people with disabilities and people who are helping those throughout the spectrum who it affects their work. It affects their ability to keep their home up. And we know that it's best to be with our families and in our communities.
Okay, and final topic today when we're talking about caregivers is to move to the area of mental health. There's been a lot of advancement in first breaking stigma, doing things for families and people with mental illness, but there's a lot left to do. There was quite a bit that the legislature has put out there that needs to get done by the bureaucracies. Senator Kirt, help us understand what's going forward.
You know, one of the best things in the last year is we got amazing federal help from good policy at the federal level through the American Rescue Plan Act. We were able to invest that money for inpatient care. So Oklahoma's been way behind on having enough beds for our population that needs serious crisis intervention, and making sure we modernize for our facilities. So the big move is that we're getting a brand new mental health facility in Tulsa and a brand new mental health facility in the central Oklahoma. We're so thrilled. Griffin has aged in place. We're really hopeful that that's going to be in Oklahoma City, and that's going to provide a lot of care for the people who are having the biggest challenges. You know, the next steps we need are really that prevention side. If we've got enough inpatient beds, then we got to make sure we're making sure fewer people go there.
Yeah, it's one of those things that the Terry Watts and Jeff Dismukes have been saying for years, not enough beds, and now this is being addressed, right, John?
It is. And what I love that you get on this show that's so unique is the senator and I are going to disagree on what happens on the federal level in Washington, D.C., but we're arm in arm on this issue in Oklahoma. We do not have enough mental health beds. It's ridiculous. And we've been working together and helping on the ARPA committee, using that money to rebuild Griffin, but not just rebuild it, hopefully rebuild it at a better location and hopefully rebuild it with far more beds. Now, that's a great start. The next thing we need to be doing is reinvesting in the prevention. We have the ability, we talked about on the show earlier, to ask for a Medicaid waiver to provide mental health inside our jail facilities so we can have a smooth transition. So the goal should be a wraparound all the way. How do we get people in mental health services not in the incarceration system? Then if they are, how do we make sure they're taken care of? And if they're extreme, how do we make sure we have the mental health beds? Some good stuff is happening right now on the state level on mental health, but citizens, we need you to keep pushing it because stuff stalls at that Capitol and it needs to keep pushing.
That's exactly right. Much has been done, but much more needs to be done. Leader Echols, Senator Kirt, thanks for being here this week. Thank you for watching Your Vote Counts. See this again at news9.com/yourvotecounts and follow me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and now Threads at Mitchell Talks.